Energy Work Episode 6, let's dive into it. Hi guys, my name is Grace Cresdo with creationalcodes.com. Thank you so much for being here with me today. We're talking about the inner child. How do you heal the inner child? How do we listen to the inner child? How do we hear the inner child? And how do we, what is this? What is going on with the inner child? We're going to break it down today. So stay tuned. I also invite you to subscribe to the channel, to like the video, to comment below. It really supports my channel when you engage with this video. And without further ado, okay friends, what is the inner child? So imagine back to when you were a child, a beautiful child, so close to God. Maybe what comes to mind is straight out of the womb, straight from that connection with Source God. Or maybe you imagine a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 12-year-old, however age it is that comes to you. I want you to just feel that child and see if you can remember what they liked, what they disliked, how they behaved, what their favorite thing to do was. That is your inner child. So a lot of the times what comes to people is this memory of things that they love to do. Maybe it was painting, maybe it was theater, maybe it was they were just a social butterfly, maybe it was something like dance or activities, anything like that. That is this childlike innocence, this childlike ability to do anything, that we are capable of anything, that we are, creational beings. There's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with the world. We're just in love with life. We're just having a good time. Every day is a good day. All of that beautiful stuff, right? And then we grow up and all of a sudden something changes. And we don't look forward to every new day. We feel stressed out. We feel let down. We feel guilty. Something's gone on in the world where we are no longer that bright light that the child is. That's why I'm so passionate about, working with children. I really want to build schools for children. I want to change the school system. I want every kid to go to a school like I did when I was a young kid, Waldorf, where it was just playing in dirt, theater, learning about history that was actually cool, learning about fairies, learning about cursive handwriting, just very magical. Every child deserves to experience that in school. So your childhood might feel magical, or it might feel really painful. Maybe you don't like looking at your childhood. And this is where we start to notice the inner child wound. So when the inner child, who is meant to be having this beautiful, fun time, this amazing experience with life, connectivity to God, expression, artistic, creative, loud, pronounced, learning about themselves, learning about life, learning about nature, when they get shut down, they experience traumatization. It's very easy to hurt a child. They're very sensitive because their hearts are so open. So when you're a child and you get scrutinized, or you get punished, or you get bullied, or you experience some kind of painful experience, the child remembers that. Because as we are in the human body is protective. So the ego is protective, the mind is protective, the nervous system is protective, and the body is protective. When the mind registers that a traumatizing experience has happened, it stores it away in the subconscious mind, never to be forgotten, so that you never do that thing again, and so that you never have the potentiality of being hurt again. The body will also remember, because the body wants to avoid being hurt. The body's main goal is to stay alive. So when both of these things are happening in tandem, we create traumatized patterns, we, shut down, we enter into depressive cycles, we let go of that thing that made us so happy, we choose to not engage with people, we choose to not go to that theater, we choose to not go to the dance practice, we should choose to not go to the sport game, anything that made us happy as a child, even people. Maybe your parents were a bit harmful to you and you choose to take on a protective role as a child to protect yourself, and you can't engage with people properly. Maybe as a child you witnessed your parents or a friend have a really negative pattern, behavioral pattern. You'll take that on and you'll also protect yourself from experiencing that. It's kind of like how they talk about psychologically the bully is actually probably having a really horrible time in their family life, because that is the only reason that they would be and choose to act in such a way towards another person. They're in pain. So if you have had experiences like this as a child, your inner child is very likely traumatized and frozen. So what happens when the inner child is frozen, that you will have like fragments of self that are stuck in that timeline, that are stuck in that experience, and that's how they choose to identify with life, and that's how they choose to identify with people, places, things. So you could be a 20-year-old, you could be a 50-year-old, and you have this weird reaction to a word, to a memory, to the sound of a noise, to particular people in your life. Maybe you've never really been able to relax around a romantic partner. Maybe you've never really been able to have good friends that love you, that honor you, that hold space for you. Maybe you don't know how to engage with that because you've never had that as a child, and your child is what is mirroring to you what is safe. The body remembers. So it is so important that we do inner child healing, because the inner child is the doorway to this quantum life, to embodying and becoming this greatest version of self. The inner child is like this mirror of the greatest version of who you can be. The child is loving, the child is creative, the child is innocent, the child is close to God, the child doesn't judge you, the child, all of these amazing qualities about a child that make it innocent and pure and creative and inspiring. We lose touch with that because we become jaded, we become, protective of ourselves. But when we start to do inner child healing, we remember that we are always that person, and that the ego and the mind have taken on the responsibility of protecting us from life, which is, kudos to them. We don't even think about it, but at the same time, it works against us because, we don't realize that these things are going on behind the scenes. We don't realize that we're missing out on this huge part of life that is love, that is joy, that is acceptance, that is friendship, that is family, that is creativity. So let's get that back. Let's heal the inner child, and let's reclaim our life. Okay, so how do we heal the inner child's wounds? So the inner child might have wounds. So you need to tune into yourself, into your inner child. And I ask that you do this on your own time. And you can even write it down. You could video record yourself. And basically what you need to do is you enter meditation and you become quiet. You become still. You tune into your body. And you ask the body, I would like to speak with my inner child. You bring up a memory, an image of that version of you as an inner child, and you listen. You ask the inner child, are you okay? The inner child will answer you, and this takes time. This might take 20 minutes for you to do something that I've said in the last 5 seconds. It doesn't have to be a quick 10-minute. It actually shouldn't be a quick 10-minute, because the softer you become in your body, the more quiet you become in your body, the more your body will trust you. It'll open up to you. It'll say, okay, she's listening. Okay, they want to hear me. They want me to open up to them. And then what you need to do is you communicate with that inner child. You could communicate with them for an hour. You could communicate with them for 40 minutes, for 2 hours, for however long you need to really understand what is going on here. So an example of this would be you enter meditation, you talk to your inner child. If you are not sure how to receive answers from your inner child, ask for images, ask for feelings. So you come into contact with your inner child, you ask for the inner child to come forward, and then you say, inner child, what is wrong? And you might just feel this heartache, or you might just see blue, or you might see purple, or you might see a memory. And what you can do is, as things come up, continue asking questions. It's like you're talking to somebody that is really hurt, really traumatized. They might not trust you because you've never interacted with them before. So as you communicate with them, you need to be really gentle, be really soft with them. You ask them how they're doing. You keep asking questions. And then as it comes up, you can write it down if you want to. You can record yourself if you want to. You can draw about it if you'd like to. Anything that for you, this is kind of like a therapy session for yourself. Inner child healing is really just you not going to a therapist to talk and regurgitate all the traumas you've been through, but to really sit with yourself and ask your inner child what it needs. And when you approach the inner child, I really recommend that you come up to it as if you are a parent. So you could come up to it as if you are the most divine, sacred parent that child could ever have asked for. And as a mother or a father, you come up to that child and you say, I see you. I witness you. What can I do to hold you? What can I do to help you? And that inner child is going to show you something, and you have to be super gentle with it. Don't poke into it and try to investigate it, because that's not what children like. You have to be really soft. Literally imagine that this is a child version of you that got stuck. And basically what we are doing is we are pulling all of these pieces of self that have been stuck in traumatization, and we're pulling them back to the present moment by reminding them that they are safe, reminding them that they are seen, and also acknowledging the pain that they've been through, healing that pain, either giving it to God or taking the time to sit with self and really move through the pain. What is going on there? What do you need to do to hold yourself? And then as well, as you do this healing, after you feel complete with a session, you don't have to finish the whole healing in one session and that part of you is completely whole again. It might take weeks, it might take months. Some aspects might take only an hour, other aspects might take months, like I said. So you can pause and tell the inner child you're going to come back. Or when you're complete, you can also just give the inner child space. So what I've always been guided to do is to create a sacred space. So again, always know where you're sourcing from. So you can put it in the 12th dimension or higher, a beautiful sacred space where they can relax. And literally just see your child, your inner child, go up to that space, a garden, a pool, maybe it's a playhouse, maybe it's a farm with puppies running around, whatever would make your inner child joyous. Put it with the joy so that it can heal. And as well, my guides have always informed me and reminded me that we are never alone. So you can call in your guides to help you quantumly, multidimensionally. And as you do these healings, you also want to ensure that it is occurring multidimensionally and quantumly. And when your guides come in, you really just want to ask your guides for support in making this experience as smooth as possible, speeding it up, helping the child digest, helping your body digest, helping your nervous system digest any trauma that needs to come out, and allowing the fields to work for you. So we never have to just process it mentally. That's a really hard way to go about things. I really recommend that you use the heart to work through things. You use the body, you use your guides, you use dance, you draw, you journal, you express, you let it go. Don't keep it in the mind. I actually really recommend that you have an output to release these feelings. Talk to somebody about it, because we don't want these thoughts to control us. We don't want these thoughts to be allowed to stay in the dark. We're bringing them to the light. We're reminding them that they are allowed to be seen, to be held, and to know that they are whole. So your inner child is probably going to have a hard time trusting you at first. It's probably not going to know what to say to you. You might have to try numerous times to create contact with that aspect of self. You're going to have hundreds of aspects of self that need healing. That's why some people say the healing journey never ends. That's what it's up for you to decide what that is for you. But inner child healing is so important when we want to come into self-mastery, when we want to come into healing the body in ways that, we might not even think about day to day. Because the body remembers things that we can't even comprehend. The mind remembers things that we can't even comprehend. If your inner child shows you something and you're not sure what to do with the information, ask God, ask your higher self, reach out to a friend. You can contact me. Just try to don't completely dismiss it if it seems out of this world, because everything that is coming up in your field is meant to be witnessed. Whether that is yours, it might be a past lifetime, it might be an ancestor's memory, it might be, something that isn't integral personally to you, but it might be important for your field to heal and digest and move forward from. So whatever is being brought up to you in your healing session, never dismiss it. You don't have to mentally digest, analyze it, but it might be important for you to acknowledge it, inquire, and then let it go. Or acknowledge it, inquire, and then see what you want to do with it. If it's beyond your boundaries of this is not mine to heal, let it go, because it's not your priority to heal other people. It's your priority to heal yourself, to heal your inner child. Make sure that you know what's going on in your field, if it's yours, if it's not yours. If your inner child starts screaming so this will happen to you probably in your inner child healing, is that your inner child will be really angry at you, potentially, or it will be really sad, or it won't want to talk to you. And if your inner child had a hard relationship with their parent, then you coming forward as a parent might be traumatizing to them. So you can also perceive what would be the most healing thing for you to appear as to that inner child. Maybe it's a stuffy. Maybe it's an animal. Maybe it's Magdalene. Maybe it's something that seems completely holy and safe to them. At that point in time, you really have to reference back to that version of you and what you can do to hold space for that aspect of you. Because we also have to remember that we're working with quantum time. So time is not linear. So that aspect of you potentially is stuck in the past, but it might also be connected to a past life or to your present now. You have to really just Sherlock it. Really just Sherlock it, see what's going on there when you enter the space, see what you can do to hold space for that aspect of self. And again, this is a slow process, something that you have to write out, something that you have to take time with, but it's very important. This healing tool is integral. It's foundational, but it's also integral to the entire processes of healing the self, because again, the inner child is this doorway to the quantum embodied Rishik masterful self, as our children to the planet. So when we remember the child, we are remembering this version of self that is deeply connected to God in all of its actions and all of its thoughts and all of its behaviors, in its limitlessness, in its abundance. The child is really just this beautiful doorway to God, this beautiful doorway to who we can become embodied with again. Not we don't have to act like a child, but the qualities of a child, the innocence of a child, the creativity of a child, the unconditional love of a child is what we want to embody. So I hope that this video was supportive for you. And I pray that you can take the tools that serve you at this time from this video. If things don't resonate with you, leave them behind, take what serves you. I thank you so much for watching. If you need support in your healing sessions, please check out creationalcodes.com. I do offer sessions, and I am going to be taking two one-on-one clients for about a month, and they're going to have pretty much continuous contact with me. This is going to be a coaching, mentoring type of program, so look out for that. If you're interested in that, check out my newsletter. Please like this video, please subscribe, please ask any questions that you have in the comments below, and I have so much love for you. Please take care. I'll see you next time.